entertainers inside these stores. They hire these black people, and these black people are more racist than white people when they get their job inside of Gucci. All of a sudden, you stop playing with us, bro. Still haven't seen a manager yet. Still haven't seen a manager yet. Since I'm talking to you right now, a manager still hasn't popped out of Gucci. And the bill is like $29,000, but we didn't pay that yet. You heard? Why would we? They still haven't sent a manager or bottle of sparkling water or anything that says that we appreciate your service for being in here in Gucci and spending that bag.
The big one.
The big one. They sent this guy.
Yeah, nah.
What is he possibly going to do? You heard? What is he going to do? Is what I want to know.
Nice shirt, Barb.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the You Feel Me podcast.
Shit, let's get into Jimmy Jones, man.
All right, so and I guess this you could tell me more about it, Wayne, because I'm guessing this happened like yesterday or when did this happen?
Happened a few days ago. It happened earlier this week. So yeah, man. Jim Jones, you know, he's a Gucci connoisseur. You know, he likes it. You know, he spends racks on all types of bags, man. So you would think at this point that everybody knows who Jim Jones is for the most part. No, he's not like a Drake or a Jay-Z, but you know his pedigree, especially in New York, man. So he went to the Gucci store and they just started to act different. And they're coming from Jimmy, what he thinks it's just because, you know, when black people, when we get into a certain area of business, we get into, you know, we let it get to our head, you know, and I guess being hired at somewhere like the Gucci store is don't give me, it's an accomplishment. It's something to be proud of, you know, but it's just like sometimes when we get into those positions, we forget how to act and we forget who we are and we forget where we came from. And I think what happened to Jim Jones is they treated him differently. They treated him like he's never spent money in that store before, like he didn't belong in that store. And like more than likely, he was getting treated like he was a nigga by other niggas. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you know, usually coming from Jim, he's like, yo, we come in here, man, we usually be drunk by now because they give us so many bottles of champagne and we drink just to walk around the store and we go buy something, we'll get this and we'll get that, man. But still, like, and then he's like, yo, where's the managers at? You know, there's no managers here. Like, all we got is a bunch of workers. Like, who can I talk to? Who do I speak to about this? You know, and like nobody's around. I don't know if anybody's paying him any attention or, you know, not really caring about him. But either way, they were being like very disrespectful towards him. And I understand where Jimmy's coming from, man. You know, I don't feel like I have to be the hugest Jim Jones fan in the world, but regardless, because everybody needs to be treated with respect. And someone like Jim Jones's caliber should be able to walk into a store like that, and people know that he has racks to spend, and he may not spend anything, but shit, he could just be window shopping in that mug, but still treat him like he's something. Because at the end of the day, whether he's a rapper or not, he still should be treated like a human being, like a grown ass man. Like just, you know, just somebody a part of this earth. And he wasn't, and he was pissed off about that. And he wanted to express his concern with that. And so I wanted to take this conversation a little deeper, but Fearless, I wanted to know how you felt about this situation. And, you know, what Jim Jones is kind of going through with him, just, you know, shit, he's helping keeping the Gucci store afloat just like everybody else is, you know. But how do you feel about the disrespect?
Let me play the video first, and then I'll go ahead and answer because I feel twofold about it. So I'm gonna go ahead and play the video right now.
No doubt.
We've been Gucci for like 2 hours.
Right? Since we came in here, having nobody came and showed us no courtesy, no amenities, no nothing. Period. Not even a drink of water. Asked to speak to a manager. Send me a black guy out here that started telling me some bullshit. So they got the black guy racial profiling on black people. Asked to speak to a manager bigger than him. Everybody disappeared. Ain't nobody come out yet. I still ain't getting no sparkling water. I still ain't getting no champagne. I still ain't getting nothing. I didn't have a salesperson inside of my VIP suite the whole time I was there. I had to keep screaming for VIP people to help me out. Now everybody don't know where the real manager is. You heard? I'm tired of this. We spending all this money as entertainers inside these stores. They hire these black people, and these black people are more racist than white people when they get their job inside of Gucci. All of a sudden, you stop playing with us, bro. Still haven't seen a manager yet. Still haven't seen a manager yet. Since I'm talking to you right now, a manager still hasn't popped out of Gucci. And the bill is like 29,000, but we didn't pay that yet. You heard? Why would we? They still haven't sent a manager or bottle of sparkling water or anything that says that we appreciate your service for being in here in Gucci and spending that bag.
The big one.
The big one. They send this guy.
Yeah, nah.
What is he possibly going to do? You heard? What is he going to do? Is what I want to know. Still haven't seen a manager. Is there a manager that works here or everybody's just a worker?
All right. So, okay.
Fearless,
So this
how
is
you
what
feel, dog?
all right. So this is what I feel. And Hamid said, rich don't mean privileged. That's
Damn,
true. Word. And rich doesn't mean that your blackness goes away neither.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You still, unfortunately, a black person. Not unfortunately, but, you know, in the eyes of the rich. And when it comes to them, you know, you still a black man. You still a black woman. You still a black skinned person. I feel like that is an issue when it comes to, you know, when you're in a store or you're in an environment where you're wanting to be served and you're around other black people, a lot of times you do get passed over. Like when you go to like a nice restaurant, a lot of people don't want to go ahead and wait on the black person because they think they're not going to get a good tip or there's going to be like some bullshit or the runaround. And we do get perceived as, oh, this is some black ghetto dude, so he ain't gonna be like really spending no money. He ain't got no bag. He just up here fake flossing or something. That happens all the time. And I think that's what happened to him. I don't know how you don't know Jim Jones, but maybe you don't. Maybe you young. Not everybody from up north. Not everybody watch Love and Hip Hop. Not everybody seen him beat up Freddie Gibbs. Not everybody been around. But when you like look at like his jewelry a little bit and might
Right.
see he has some money, or
Right.
the fact
Shit
that
looks
he's
kinda
in
real.
the VIP, you know what I mean? He's in the VIP suite. I don't even know how you get up in there, but I'm pretty sure you get up in there because you got like a card or something that be like, yo, I spend $100,000 plus up in here in my life.
Right.
So I feel twofold about it. Him complaining about sparkling water and, you know what I'm saying, shit like that kind of doesn't appeal to me as a individual that don't got no sparkling water. You know what I mean? But I feel him when it comes to service, when it comes to other people of your ethnicity. Like that shit happens all the time. It doesn't matter what level that you're at, man. Every time I go into a store, black people walk right past me when I'm trying to ask a question or shit like that because they don't think I'm trying to spend no money. Certainly when you're dealing with people and it has to deal with food. It's always known in that industry. If you're a waiter, man, try to avoid the black folk because they'll never leave no tip. And, you know, it's just a stereotype. And that's what I feel like he faced. No matter how rich you get, you still going to face those stereotypes. But, you know, he was on his rich flossy talk, no, half of that rant. But I feel that's wrong. So they should have helped him, man.
I think, see, that's my thing, man. I think it's a little bigger than that. I mean, I understand that, you know, racism is still running wild. You know, I understand like these are the things that we all go through when we go to a store. I understand all those things, but to me, like this is the real black on black crime. Like they say, you know, when a black person kills another black person, man, that's not black on black crime. That's just regular crime. That's why I say there's no such thing as black on black crime. But if there was, it's this here. Ignoring and not treating a black patron, someone who's walking into your store and not treating them like a decent human being because you may think you're a little better than them because maybe you're a little more educated or you think maybe like you know that person's beneath you or whatever.
Or they ain't gonna spend no money.
Or they ain't gonna spend no paper in there. You know, I don't like that at all, man. And that's the main thing that causes us to hate each other. That is the main thing that causes us to have this separation. Like it's those small things that we can change that can make the relationships between black person and black person that much better. Now, I'm not saying like if you're a worker at the Gucci store that you're supposed to be like, oh, Jim Jones, like we got an episode called Code Switch. It came out a couple weeks ago. I'm not saying you got a code switch or anything like that when you see Jim Jones. If you're a black worker there at the Gucci store, be like, oh, yo, what's up, my nigga? What's good? Which Gucci was you ain't got to start speaking like a rapper. Be yourself. You know what I mean? Like if you're that educated person that speaks like they're from Harvard, do you? You know what I mean? But the thing is when you see this black person, treat them with the same amount of respect as you would give me a white artist, a
Demi
fucking
Lovato or something.
one of
I
them,
don't
one of them
I think
people.
she might be Spanish. So I don't
You
know.
know what I
You
mean?
know what I'm saying?
But
Yeah.
still, that would still get
Billie
that same amount of
Eilish.
respect. Even Billie Eilish, for somebody that will walk in the store and maybe not buy anything, but you still want to show them respect because you know who they are. But when black people walk into the store, you know who they are, but you don't want to give them the same amount of respect because you already got in your head like they're not going to tip well, or they're not going to spend any money, or they're just not going to do anything. We got to get that out of our head from our own people. And I know you said about like the whole sparkling water, and he may have been like on his rich shit. I understand all that. But if he's used to walking in there with him and his friends and getting sparkling water or champagne, whatever the case, and he didn't get it this time, that's a
He gonna
problem.
feel weird. Yeah, he gonna feel
It's a
weird.
problem. It's noticeable. So, and it's the same thing. Like if a white person were to walk in and they get sparkling water or champagne, or they get sent to their VIP room or whatever the case is, the same should happen for Jim Jones every single time. And the first time that it didn't happen, as a black person, we may overlook it. We may, I don't know. But even if we don't, that's fine too. Jim Jones decided not to overlook that. There's a problem with that. There was no black people that were rushing to help him, no workers that were rushing to help him at all. That's an issue. That's the real black on black crime. That's the real problem. And we need to find out all of these different situations, these different scenarios that separate us even more. It shouldn't matter where you're from. The fact that he walked into that expensive ass store means that he has money. So if you don't want to treat him, with the respect that you should treat him at, then fucking respect the man for having the accolades or creating something in the atmosphere that puts that much money in his pockets where he can spend it on him, his friends, and his family, or whatever the case is. Celebrate his wealth and his success. If you don't appreciate him just for being a black man who's still walking the earth. You know what I mean? And please don't think that I'm just like going out way too far in my speech and what I'm saying here, like, because I know it's just a simple bottle of sparkling water to some people, and I'm taking it too far. But to me, it's a lot more than that. It's a lot more deeply rooted than that. Because when a black person ignores another black person because of the stereotypes that the other man has created, that means that they've latched on to that other way of thinking instead of putting more respect in themselves and their people and their culture. So that just kind of pisses me off a little bit.
All right. I feel you, man. I really do feel you. Like, Courtney suggested that we look up our article about why black people do tip less.
We have less.
This is actually the Washington Post, and what they stated was that based off of their research, it indicates that black people tip less because they believe servers expect lower tips from them. So it's actually a revolving cycle, and they underestimate the tip amounts that others leave. Whereas roughly 70% of whites identified the customary or expected restaurant tip to fall between 15 to 20% of the bill, only 35% of blacks do. In addition, black respondents on average believe that the typical restaurant customer tips about 13.4% of their bill, while whites believe that the typical restaurant customer tips about 14.5%. So it's what is expected and typical. And I think that does have a lot to do with the fact that as a people, we are in our neighborhoods, there really isn't like that system of tipping like that. But I think that now with more higher black owned restaurants coming to like local neighborhoods, certainly like would do the gentrification and things of that nature, you're starting to see that dynamic change. This is from 2015. I feel like that the dynamic has changed. But when he didn't get any service, I don't give a fuck if he was at Macy's. It's still, racist, and it's still about stereotyping, and it's still like that problem. So something that just has to get fixed, man, by just being able to understand that you got to service everyone equally, like you do, because if not, man, you see exactly what comes. You get that people feeling like feeling bad and feeling like I don't want to shop at the store no more. And at the end of the day, man, it is your job, so what I'm saying, I can't not do my job. So that's how I feel about it, man.
Let me, if I can, speak on that. The figure that you just read. Are I really think that it's crazy. It's like I think whoever did that article, if they ask any black people for real, but I feel like that's going too deeply, but not even still not going deep enough. You know, as far as why black people don't tip well, I agree with you in the sense that we don't have that where we're from. We don't know how to tip well. We're not taught how to tip well. You know,
Yeah.
but also you have to understand we're not taught how to do well with our money either. You know what I mean? We're not taught how to save well. We're not taught how to spend well and to, you know, conserve our money until like the next paycheck, whatever the case is. So that's one of those things that not everybody is taught, and especially so in the black community. So as we especially don't know how to tip well. And the thing is we're if it's one thing that we are taught is how to be stingy with our money. So black people know how to hold on to our dollar for the things that we want more, and we just don't for some reason consider giving more and more and more to somebody else for just bringing food out. But again, that is just because that's the way that I believe either we're taught or not taught, you know, because we don't go out to eat that often, you know, and when we do, like, we never talk about like, hey son, hey daughter, like this is how much you're supposed to give. You're supposed to give 15 to 20%. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things where, hey, we finally got some money to for all of us to go out and eat. And let's say it's like you finally get your income tax in, you get a good grip of money, you want to, you know, just go out for a nice meal. You don't want to cook anything. You want to kick your shoes off and then, you know, have your family go out and have whatever they want. And but you still need the good majority of that money that you have. It's just as an example. So you're going to give a lot less to the waiter because you're holding on to whatever little bit else that is. You know what I mean? Because we're taught how to be stingy more than we're taught how to tip. Let's just keep it that way. I think it's more of that than us underestimating what the other person tipped or whatever the other case was, you know?
I mean, you know, me personally, though, since that due to that report from Washington Post, it does make sense to me when it comes to just the way that we was taught. That's what those figures really was talking about. But that doesn't I don't really want to get like deep into tipping, but I do want to
Mm,
get deeper into, like, you know, like we said, that was wrong. And we have to make sure that when we see black people, if we're in like that working environment, we need to help them equally,
mhm.
because just believing in those stereotypes is fucking up everybody and they whole, you know, the whole way it's going down.